Now, the fate of Donald Trump's tariffs could be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court this Friday. Prashant is here and he's going to tell us what could be on the cards. Prashant.
Thanks very much for that. I mean, this is the big one, right? This coming Friday brings the much anticipated Supreme Court opinion on the IEEPA tariffs. Now, will we hear a ruling from the court? As per Bloomberg, the courts never say in advance which decisions are ready for release, only that rulings in argued cases are possible. The reason why there is expectation, heightened expectation that we will see a decision, that a tariff decision is a possibility, is because the court has expedited the handling in terms of the hearing, etc. It started sometime in September, October, and then it kind of sort of continued. So the court has heard this case very, very fast, and that is why expectation that we will actually get a ruling from the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, what can happen? It is possible that the Supreme Court may opine on the matter. Will an opinion mean a ruling? We don't know. It's also possible, in the range of spectrum of possibilities, that they defer the decision to the lower courts. They send it back to the lower courts and say, well, you guys decide, not me at this point. But for what it's worth, consensus street expectation is that tariffs on Friday by the Supreme Court will be partially struck down. Actually, not on Friday. The bet is on the fact that tariffs will be partially struck down by the Supreme Court whenever that ruling happens. A betting marketplace like Polymarket is indicating that there is 24% odds that the Supreme Court will rule in favor of tariffs, only 24% odds. Now, refunds, right? In case these tariffs are struck down, refunds will be the biggest focus point for markets, for interest rate markets, bond markets, and equity markets as well, but more rates market than the equity market. Remember, markets have been penciling in all this tariff revenue which is coming in. And if these tariffs are deemed illegal, they'll perhaps have to be refunds. So that money is no longer there, which you've already sort of in a way accounted for. There remains uncertainty on the scope and question of refunds, if the refunds are required. Well, it's possible that if these refunds have to be carried out, they could be through treasury cash holdings and or by increasing the size of auctions themselves. So mechanism, it's never been done. It's all unprecedented. But if it comes to that, we'll have to kind of figure that out. But market will be very, very sensitive. Now, countries facing the most punitive IEEPA tariffs stand to benefit. Obviously, I mean, if you're hurt most and there's a rollback, you stand to benefit the most. The scope will be critical as IEEPA has been used to implement both reciprocal and fentanyl-related tariffs as well. For example, reciprocal tariff relief would be more beneficial for Vietnam, India, and countries like that versus fentanyl-related tariff relief for countries like China, Canada, Mexico, etc. Now, many trade deal agreements have been established, right? I mean, over the last 1 year or so, and many are presumably near finalizing. It is an open question at this stage what happens to these as well. I'll tell you this, I'll just leave you with what I think. If the court decides to rule, and as consensus expects on Friday, the court says, well, some of this has to be rolled back, the Trump administration is determined, as we've heard from many, including President Trump himself, to stay the course. They'll find other legislative routes to bring these tariffs back. They may be more cumbersome. Some of those sections will be more cumbersome. But, I don't think that if the court says, well, roll it back, this administration is going to just do it and move on. They're going to find a way to get these tariffs back through other legislative means, more cumbersome maybe, but, tariffs nevertheless. I think it's a big one on Friday and will be very, very market moving as well if there is a ruling indeed. Back to you.
Market moving indeed. All eyes on this all-important Supreme Court ruling on Friday to determine the legality of the Trump tariffs. Prashant, thank you for summarizing that for us.